We're live.
We are live. Welcome, welcome. I know it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to come on in, but we just want to welcome you back to another edition, another episode of Man Me
Me
Too.
too.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I am Scooter Lamont, and my co-host. What's your name?
I'm Carl.
All
Carl.
right.
Just Carl.
All right. And again, just
Pseudonym.
call.
Just Carl.
And again, we are Man with three N's. Me Too. So that just simply stands for man. We all going through some different things. We're able to identify with that man with three ends.
Three
Me
of them.
too. Three of them. So we are out to have a platform where men can speak on issues that we don't normally speak about, and we want to shatter the silence that men start of men. I'm sorry, and start a community of healing, love, and laughter. That's what all this is geared towards. We thank everybody who's going to come in and who's already in the chat. But yeah, we're just a platform and a podcast to kind of give men a platform. That's what this is about. Showing that we have vulnerable sides, we have really strong sides. Sometimes we're a little stubborn as men. Sometimes we have all type
Sometimes.
of issues. And yeah, sometimes. And the
Sometimes.
good thing that I like about it is it's not all trauma with us. It's not all bad. It's not all sad and doom and gloom. We have some good things going about us. We even have men that we want to actually celebrate. So
Yeah.
if you have accomplishments, if you have things that you've accomplished in your life or whatever the case may be, if you just want a simple shout out, you all can send your any of that to man with three N's, me too, at gmail.com. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or even any concerns that you all would like for us to read and go through and kind of show on the show, just send them to manme2 at gmail.com. So again, I am Scooter Lamont. That's Carl, and we are Man Me Too. And also, we all want you all to go to our YouTube channel. On our YouTube channel, there's everything that we upload on Facebook. Anytime we have a live or any type of content, if you go to YouTube, we want you to go to Man with three N's, Man Me Too, and then I want you to like, comment leave a comment for us, and also share. And we definitely want you to subscribe. When you
Yeah.
subscribe to our channel, when you subscribe to our channel, it'll notify you anytime that we post content, anytime that we put up anything, or anytime we go live, or any of those things. It will send you a notification. But guess what? You can only get that notification not only subscribing, but you have to hit the notification bell. When you hit the notification bell, hit all. And once you hit all, anytime we put up anything, you'll get a notification to your phone or to your device or whatever you have, and it will let you know that we're on, we're live,
We
we
on. We
we're,
live.
we on, yeah. So,
I heard
um,
somebody say. I heard somebody say when you hit that notification bell, you don't have to come looking for us. We'll come to you.
that's right, yes, sir. We might take. You ain't gotta come looking. We gonna come to you. We gonna pop up on your phone, on your
Right.
screen. So yeah, that's what we're all about. Like I said, we want to make sure that men have a platform that we can speak out on it, we can speak up about it, we can talk about it. Because in our communities, there's a lot of silence, there's a lot of
It is.
harboring, it's a lot of hiding it, and it comes out in other ways, whether it's good or bad. So again, we want you to make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, even on Facebook, while you all are on here now, share this, share it, put something in the comment and share it. We're part of a algorithm. That's one thing that I'm learning. So anytime that you all comment on something, even if we comment back, anytime we get anytime we're on, it'll send it to you because of the algorithms of how things work. That that we've connected on some level, and now you're on with us.
Yep.
So Whew, we thank you all so much for even just being a part of the Man Me Too crew, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, we guess what we got today? We got the Man Me Too t-shirts. Yeah, come on, come on, put some hearts in the chat box. We are if you like these shirts, come on, let us know if you like them. If you all want to be a part of the Man Me Too crew and you want one of these t-shirts,
Hit us
all you
up.
got to do is send us an email to man with three N's, me too, at gmail.com. One of us will get the notification. I'm definitely going to get it to Carl because he is the man with the master plan when it comes to this merchandise with these clothing items. Him and his wife with designs by David. That's who all our merchandise comes through. So if we have on anything that you all see us wear, and you all have questions about it, it probably came from Designs by David. So if you all have any questions about it or you want it, just email us.
Email us.
So,
We can make it happen.
so
Somebody
I'll
said.
probably
Somebody said. I ain't gonna say who the somebody is, but they said, "Are they free?"
no. That's why I said email us. So that way we can give you your price. Because of things like social media and things like um, um, the internet and all these type of things, we can communicate very well. We can give you a price, and we can get it out to you, whether that's shipping or if you in St. Louis and we need to meet you somewhere.
Yeah.
We
We
can
can
get
make
it to you that way as
arrangements.
well.
We can make
Make
arrangements.
arrangements. So no, they are not free, but we thank you all for your support anyway. And maybe one day we'll have some stuff that's free.
Hmm.
But we out here trying to build up. So um, all
We
right,
working on a
somebody
we
put in the
working on a little
chat.
project too, ain't we? Scooter, we working
Yeah,
on a little
yeah.
project. We trying to put a little piece together. We just got to get some people to cooperate with us.
Right, right, right. Like I
It's
said,
coming
we
though.
we want to celebrate you. Even women, if you have a young man that's your child, maybe your nephew, and you want to shout out their accomplishments, give them to us, and we'll shout them out for you. You know, um, we just want to make sure that we have this platform for everybody. Somebody put they want us to play some games, so let's go into this next segment. And we've been doing this. We've done this, I think, four maybe out of the 5 times that we've done this show, and it's been going pretty good. So again, in this, we all want you all to put what your answers would be in the chat as well, and if we
Let
see
us.
them,
We want to hear from y'all too. We don't want to just sit on here and just talk. All right. Let's.
that's another thing. Me and Carl are not just sitting here talking to each other. We are having a community conversation with everybody. So we
Hmm.
want to hear from you as well. I know you're not um, audioly on where you can, verbally say what's going on, but we can see what's in the chat. So we
Yes.
all want you all. We're all communicating. We're all,
Hmm.
conversing. So we want to make sure that you all are not just listening. We want you all to participate. So, are you all ready for Would You Rather? All right, so with this game, I'm going to ask Carl and I'm going to ask you all, would you rather, whatever it is, you all put in the chat. Me and Carl will converse and go back and forth on what ours are and what our idea behind the answer is. And then we want to see what you have in the chat. All right. So, would you rather? All right, you ready for this, Carl?
I'm ready. I'm
Now
ready. I'm ready.
I want you to think long and hard about these questions, okay?
I'm
Before we
ready.
get
I'm
into
ready.
our deep topic for the day. All right,
Right.
so would you rather have a super sensitive taste or have a super sensitive hearing?
Mm. 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 Well, I'm a okay. So I know what it's like to not taste anything, but
Right.
to have super sensitive taste may be a little too much. Because if you eat some borderline food, you gonna taste all of that. That I'd rather be able to hear super hearing. because I got kids and they walk away mumbling. I need to hear what they be saying. But that taste, like, so it's not a thing of like you have this and you don't have taste. It's like I'm still gonna have normal taste though, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super hearing all day. I want to hear what the boss talking about in the next room. I want to hear. I, hey, I gotta make sure I'm good.
All right, we got a couple people answering in the chat. John Barrett says hearing.
Hearing, yes sir.
Shamaya says taste. Corita says taste. Okay, so for me,
I need to expand on this taste. Why you want to taste everything so bad, man?
you would rather have a super sensitive taste. I think I probably would go with taste as well. And
Really?
well, no, I might go because it says super sensitive, which means sensitive could sometimes hurt.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been somewhere where something is either too loud or screeching? And that's just nerve wracking. So, but on the other hand, super sensitive taste, not only tasting food, but sometimes your breath is not always that fresh.
Right.
So that
You taste
means
it.
it's like you're gonna taste that, and it's gonna be very
Listen,
sensitive and nasty to the taste.
I know you done been to them relatives' house where they food was like, alright.
Oh,
So if you got super sensitive taste, it ain't gonna just be alright. It's gonna be
nasty to the teeth.
what is so that's how I'm looking at it.
I don't know. I guess I would have to go with super sensitive hearing. And I probably need that anyway, because when I'm at work, people say something to me, and I have my AirPods in, and these AirPods it blocks out noise. And so sometimes they come up to
That's cause you
me.
got them pros, right? You got them pros, right?
Yeah,
That's a
you
good
can
time to
turn
bring
it
that up.
on and off. But even when I have one in, sometimes people say something to me, and I'm like, hold on, say that again. What did you say?
Yeah,
So I guess
me
I
too.
would rather have super sensitive hearing.
No, but Scooter, you a singer too, man. You got to be able to hear.
That
You got to be
man,
able to
you
hear
ain't
them
said nothing
notes,
but
man.
whew, that is so true. That's one thing about doing music people don't understand. When you're a singer or a preacher or any of that, where you have to be on a platform or stage and you can't hear yourself, it's
Yeah, right.
like torture. It's
Hmm.
torture. And so a
See,
lot of
man,
times
you
people
you
don't.
be you be hitting all the notes perfect, man. You ain't gonna have to worry about none of
No, not at all.
that.
Thank you for that, though. All right, so I guess most of the people that I read said taste. All right, so you ready to move on to the next one?
Wait a minute. What does this say?
What is this Janetta talking about in
let,
this chat?
let them head. What? What? I, I'm guessing that's a miss.
Yeah, and she misspelled. It's supposed to be let them hear.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think that's a misspell, but
Yeah, the Bible
all right.
says he that has an ear, let him hear. Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. You ready for the next one?
Yep.
Oh, now she fixed it here. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's my wife in the chat, guys. She's so
There
awesome.
she go. She
She
fixed it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
she
She fixed
fixed it. She fixed it. All right. So the second one is: would you rather? Now this one gonna affect you for real, Carl. Have dry eyes or
it. Oh,
consistent runny nose? It's either or with this one. You gotta have one. Which one would you rather not have?
both of those suck. Like to
It definitely
sniff
does.
all day would be terrible. But considering I stare at a computer all day, to have dry eyes, that's like torture. Like man, I I guess I sniff all day
Yeah.
cause dry eyes will even make you feel like you sleepy. Like you just be want to close your eyes. Like come on, get some moisture
Hmm.
in there.
I might be irritated because they dry. Yeah, I
Like
think for most.
yeah, I take the nose, man.
Hey, but continual nose running, that's terrible too.
I could
Consistent
wash some
nose
t-shirt, but stick it up in there and just let it.
running. You're right about that. Yeah, I think I would go with I'd rather my nose run because having dry eyes, especially for people that wear contacts.
Mm.
Oh man, can you imagine? Your eyes dry and the contact. Let me tell this story while while I'm here we talking about dry eyes and contacts.
Or if you don't have no tissue, you can wipe it on your sleeve. That'll work too.
Yeah. So when I was 16, I got some contacts for my birthday, right? And so I didn't even know really anything about them besides you put them in your eye. So as far as the solution and all that type of stuff, I didn't really know how that worked. So it took me like 3 hours to get these contacts in my eyes, first of all.
I would have gave up.
But I wanted them. So I'm like, I'm gonna get these contacts on. Meanwhile, I was 16, so this was years ago. Um, so my father kept telling me, you only be putting this stuff in your eyes, you only be put this stuff in your eye. And so one weekend I went on my cousin's house and I did not have no solution.
Oh wow.
So I put these contacts in a plastic bag, Ziploc bag, in water. So I put these contacts back in and I go to school on Monday. My eyes swelled up, they swelled up so bad. I couldn't even open my eyes. When I tell you it was horrible, like I couldn't even open my eyes to get the contacts out. The nurse, they had to call my father because he was the only one at home at the time because my mom was at work.
The
He
one
was
who told
so
you,
mad because he
not the one
told
who
me.
told you.
Yes, he was so mad. And like I said, I didn't really know anything about solution and all that stuff of how that worked. So I'm thinking like I don't want these contacts to dry out, so I put them in some water. So yeah, you don't want dry eyes because
Nah.
that was the worst. My eyes were literally swell shut, and I was like, I don't even know what they gave me to get it to calm down because they had to get the
Did you ever
contacts
wear?
out. But
Did you ever wear
I've
contacts after that?
I've never worn contacts again. Never won them again. All right, so y'all ready for the next question? All right, the next one is, ooh, would you rather lose all your money and valuables? Now this is gonna be interesting for the women that's on here, or all the photos you've ever taken in life.
This is easy. School. I don't even take photos. It's like if
Yeah, I
you
know. I know you don't. That's why I was like, this one ain't gonna be hard for him.
if
But
you
think
scroll
about it.
through if you scroll through my phone, I would say 90% of the photos in my phone came from my wife
Oh, okay.
or Carly, which is my daughter. Like, yeah,
Yeah, because when I was over there, she had my phone. I was looking through my phone. I'm
click,
like,
click,
man, got
click,
pictures
click.
of Carla getting here.
Right.
But think about it. We use photos for everything. So
Mhm.
you use it for promo for your business.
Oh yeah.
You use it for people use pictures on social media. Like nobody would know that that's actually you, Carl Davis, because you don't got no pictures.
I ain't got no picture to tell them it's me.
You don't have nothing to look back at and show your kids this is how much you've grown. You would lose all of that.
Listen, them pictures will be all right.
All
My
right.
wife got a my wife got enough pictures in her phone to cover all of them. Because
So as long as she
I'm,
your possible memories. Oh man, that's crazy.
we
Items
got
that
Jemiah on her. She said items.
she rather
Mm.
lose all the items and valuables and
Wow.
money and
What kind of photos you got?
wow, she must got glamour shot photos.
She says memories are everything.
They
Mm.
are, and the thing about pictures, when you look back at them, it takes you back to that place
But
you
a
were.
memory is in your mind, okay?
Think about
If
it. But
you
if you don't
if you
have those
broke,
pictures,
if you broke, what kind of memories are you making?
broke memories. Oh, the Titanic. What did they have to look back at to know that that was Rose Dawson, whatever her last name was? That picture that he made.
Yeah. But on the
That was
Titanic,
her memory.
90% of them people died because they ain't got no more memories. That's one memory I probably don't want to remember.
Oh man, Janetta said, "Back up the cloud." You lose it all. You don't got none of it on your cloud. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. All right, this one is a little different. Would you rather be able to only use a spoon with no forks or forks with no spoons?
Hmm. Okay, let's think about this. Spoons and no forks, or forks and no spoons. So you either choose between a spoon and a fork.
Yep. But you can only use that for the rest of your life.
I'm trying to see.
Spoon, no fork, or fork with no spoon for the rest of your life.
Uh, man, I'm trying to see what. uh, I feel like I'm leaning towards a spoon, but because if I'm eating like soup or something, like fork ain't gonna do it. I feel like I
Oh
could do
no.
every. I feel like I could do everything with a spoon that I could do with a fork though. Like what could you eat? What do you normally eat with a fork that you can't eat with a spoon? Like spaghetti, but you could just chop the spaghetti up real small and then just scoop
Get
it.
on the spoon. Yeah. Ooh, people say fork with no spoon,
I
spoons,
I
fork
think I'm going
please.
with spoon because like if you eating cereal, you gotta have a little milk on the spoon with it. Like you can't just eat no dry cereal. Like I'm going spoon.
Spoon. Okay. For me, I would have to say spoon as well. I actually eat majority of the time with a spoon.
Right,
Um, I normally use a fork if I'm eating some pasta or something like that.
right. That's it.
But like you say, that can be chopped up and you can still use a spoon. But there are no holes. If there are no holes in a fork, you can't use it. Like I mean,
Yeah,
like
fork
even
is
eating
just
Chinese rice.
right. I use a spoon for that.
I use a spoon. Yes, most people use a fork, and I'm like,
Because if your hand ain't too steady, you dropping rice everywhere.
yeah, I'm definitely using a spoon. All right, spoon, catch more food. Bye, John Adam.
You can drink soup. If it's chunky soup though,
Right, or if it's really hot, think
hot,
about when you're
right?
drinking
Yeah.
coffee or tea and
I
you
don't know
trying to
about that
sip
drinking.
it.
I don't know about drinking no soup, man. I don't know about that.
All right, are y'all ready for the last one so we can move on? All right, the very last one is: would you rather live without internet or live without AC or heat?
Ah, easy, easy. I
That's
think
easy for you.
like no
Think
internet
about
at
it
all.
now.
No
We can't
internet
do
at
this.
all.
We can't do this podcast if we ain't got no internet.
I I would drive. I would drive to Starbucks parking lot. Okay, everybody got free Wi-Fi. Okay, listen. I I can't be hot. Like when sweat roll down my back, it's like I gotta go in the house. Like internet got
Mm.
to go. Internet gotta go, man.
So y'all say y'all would rather live without internet or y'all rather have internet? 50 fan on. Yeah, that's true. We didn't have any of that growing up. My God, I used to see the devil in my house because it was so hot. And then
Wait,
what's
she talk
crazy is
you is she talking about her growing up or internet growing up? Because
we didn't have neither one of them.
I was about to say it could go either way. Oh, we didn't have either. Okay, you're right. You're right. We ain't have neither one of them.
So for those who are not reading in the chat, Jonetta put we didn't have neither of those growing up. So we definitely could live without it, but I wouldn't want to live. I wouldn't rather live
50,
without.
50 fans on those? Like you rather have internet and just buy a bunch of fans?
people saying no
Man, come
internet,
on.
but we trip when we don't have a signal.
But wait, okay,
Think
so
about it.
internet.
No internet means you on
No,
the
no, no,
road and
no,
you want to use your GPS, but you can't because you don't got no signal. You don't got no internet.
no, no. Don't that run on like the phone data too?
That's still the internet.
No, man, that's just normal
No,
phone.
no internet at all.
That's just normal 4G phone from the cell towers, man. That's not internet.
Okay, I give you that.
Man, listen, whatever it is, I will lose a phone, uh, whatever. I need AC in the summertime.
Man, it's a must-have of mine as well. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
y'all. Man, Me Too has to end because I
We'll
need
have to write it
AC.
out. We'll have to write this out and mail it to y'all.
Right?
Go back to
I'll
reading
be,
letters or something.
I'll be, we'll be a Man Me Too newsletter. Okay.
If I didn't have no air in this house, it'd be a whole nother man me too. I'd be mad. And y'all be saying, man, me too. I ain't got no air either. Y'all see a whole different school to Lamont on this, but I hate
Oh,
I hate being hot. I literally
it's the worst being
I
hot,
don't mind
man.
being hot when I'm moving around or I'm doing something or but if I'm just sitting still and I'm miserable. I'm ready to fight. Cause
Yeah.
but like she put in the chat, that's how we grew up. Cars have GPS. We depended on everything else though, because
Cars do have GPS now. You
that's
can.
true.
Hey, All Star. Can you give me direction all day? I need some AC, Scooter. I can't do it, man. If I'm hot,
Yeah.
I'm miserable. If I'm miserable,
Ain't
then
nobody having no good time.
you probably gonna be miserable because I'm gonna be in a bad mood.
Okay.
It's like having you a sailor in the south, but you need the air in the south.
It wasn't gonna work. That's hilarious. Oh man. So we appreciate you all for that segment of Would You Rather. We appreciate everybody who is commenting and conversing back and forth with us in the chat. Also, again, I want to go through this again. If you all have any questions that we don't get to, or any comments or whatever, or any accomplishments, send them to man with three N's, man me too at gmail.com. Also, go to our YouTube channel, hit like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit all on there so you can get any notifications anytime we upload anything. And um, again, we thank you. That's what this platform is for. So let's
Yeah,
move on. Let's move on. So before we get into the topic for tonight, well, I guess it is kind of the head topic of kind of what we're talking about. We want to talk about a couple people who have passed away since the last time we've been on. Um, and Cora, I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
well, of course, Wakanda forever. Uh, Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. Man. Like you don't realize how much somebody affects you that you really don't know. But like he played so many iconic roles, like it was
He
like,
did.
and he was so young, like. But another guy, John Thompson, the coach of Georgetown, he was the
Hmm.
first African American coach to win the NCAA championship. Even though at the press conference after the game, they was like, "How do you feel to be the first African American coach to win the championship?" He was like, "I ain't no African American coach. I'm a coach."
That's right.
That's letting America know, bruh. I'm a man. You ain't
Right, right.
you ain't always got to put that on us. We human too.
Yeah, because a lot of times when we do that, that categorizes us into a
Put us in a
certain,
box. Yep.
yeah.
Um, and another one, Cliff Robinson. Some of y'all might know him. He was a professional basketball player too.
Hmm.
Played with the Trailblazers for a while. I think he uh if I'm not mistaken, I think he won Dancing with the Stars, or he was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh,
No,
really?
Survivor, Survivor.
Survivor. Okay.
It was Survivor. He won.
Wow. You know
Yeah,
how old he was?
he was 53. Chad was
Wow,
43.
that's still young.
Young, yeah, yeah, too young, man.
Okay, so I'm piggyback off you and talk about Chadwick Boseman. I just think that I think that, like you said, you never know how much a person affects you, especially when you don't really know them personally.
Hmm.
But I just want to, send out condolences to his family and his close friends, because I'm sure it's not easy dealing with all that right now, even doing arrangements and constantly getting on social media and seeing his pictures and videos. And, I kind of hate that we wait till a person
So,
has passed to celebrate them.
yeah,
So I kind of wish that there was some type of way where we all can agree on a person that's going to be celebrated every day. You know what I'm saying?
that's a good, right.
Like we celebrating Carl Davis today, and everybody posts about. Like I feel like we should give people their flowers while they're here, so that they can see it. Because after they're gone, only people that see it is their family members.
Right.
So um, again, um, condolence to his family. Like I said, I know this is not an easy time for them, making arrangements and seeing all of that. But it was amazing to me that he was 43, first of all, when he died. But he died, I believe, of colon cancer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He had this for the last 4 years,
4 years.
which in the last 4 years, um, Black Panther
Didn't
has come
leak.
out.
Oh yeah.
That's what's amazing to me. So he's done that within that time. So that means he has been dealing with this even while he was, preparing for that part and actually doing the part of being in Black Panther. Like, that's just amazing to me. Most of us, when we find out crazy diagnosis like that, we feel like the world is over. We don't want to accomplish anything. We go into this deep depression, and I
Just give
actually,
up.
we
Yeah.
don't know what he went through mentally because we weren't there with him. And also, shout out to his family and his close friends that knew that never leaked anything. Like
Right.
that means a lot. That means a lot about them that and the respect that they have for him. That they nobody never said anything about it. I know everybody probably seen the picture or the video that came out some months ago, and he was all skinny in the neck, and people kind of had negative things to say. Is he on drugs or is he this? And it's like you never know what a person is going through. You never know what a person is dealing with. So we had to kind of be careful who we put our mouth on and when we put our mouth on because you never know what a person is dealing with. But the fact that he persevered through um, that sickness to play in those movies, like that's amazing to me. Because one thing, and we talked about going to the doctor a couple of episodes ago. We don't want to hear no bad news. So to hear that bad news, most of the time when people hear that bad news, they go directly into depression and you die mentally before you die physically because um you start thinking about when is it going to be over, how long is it going to be over, like whew. So for him to
Right.
achieve his dreams, all
Follow.
the movies first. Wow, that's amazing.
That
That's
is
amazing.
amazing. And
All the
it
movies
wasn't.
with 5 or 6 in that
No.
time.
It wasn't no little punk roles either. Like these
Right. He
was
didn't
full
have no
on.
B roll. Right, right,
This was
right.
action movies. Him playing like James Brown and
Can you
like
imagine? He had to learn all of James Brown dance moves, his mannerisms. All that's not easy stuff to do. It ain't like you playing a fictional character that
right.
you can kind of embellish and make your own. But you're trying to play somebody to the T, like that's not an easy thing to do. And so to do that type of work, knowing that you're in the condition that you may be in, like I applaud that. Like,
Yeah.
I
For
love the
sure.
fact that he was able to follow his dreams in spite of what he was dealing with. And that's pretty much what we're talking about tonight. Are you following your dreams, or have you allowed any things to cause ceilings in your life to the point where you can't go past that, or do you dream? Like
Do you
as
dream at
black
all?
men,
Right,
do we dream? Do we have the capacity to dream? Do we have the mindset to dream? Have we been taught to dream?
right. Th- th-
So whew, that's crazy. So that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. So now that we're going into it, um, so Carl and myself have been watching this guy who has a podcast called The Table, and his name is Anthony O'Neill. If anybody want to go look him up or look up these um, uh, clips
Well,
on YouTube.
let me say. So Anthony O'Neill is typically known as like a financial guy. So
Okay.
he typically does stuff with like Dave Ramsey. I don't know if y'all know Dave Ramsey or not, but
Hmm.
I'm huge Dave
You
Ramsey
follow
fan.
him,
Yeah.
right? Right.
And Anthony O'Neill is like the younger, like appeal to like the college age students, um, guy of the Dave Ramsey camp. And typically he teaches on finance a lot. I know he was once like a an assistant pastor at a mega church at one point,
Okay.
but now he's known on YouTube as Anthony O'Neill for finances on Dave Ramsey. But he also has his own page where he does like the table talk, not the red table talk, but like he does table talks. And he did a few on Black History back in February, and now he's doing the ones that we're about to discuss now. So
Exactly. So he's well established in what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. And one thing I like about this specific series that he did that we're going to talk about tonight. Um, a lot of times we go get like-minded people to converse with us. Um, Most of the time, if black people go get other black people to converse back and forth with them on a topic, or but I think it's important to get other perspectives. Get them from a different perspective, just simply from a different perspective, and that's what he did. He decided to pick five white people, five Caucasian people, and he asked them. The main topic of what they were talking about was Black Lives Matter, and so he asked them
well,
questions.
let's just say what the
Go ahead.
name, how he titled the show. The title of this it's like a, I think it's 5 parts right now,
Yeah, I think
and
it's five parts.
the title of it is, "Do white people even know Black history?" So he created a round table where he went and got, what was it, 5 white
Yeah, I think
people?
it was five. Yeah, five white people.
Yeah, and he questioned like, what you know about us? Because I think a lot of times we have a perspective on things, and they have a perspective on things that's don't even come close to each other. Like, so it was really good to hear, like, oh, that's what they think. Well, that's not what we saying when we say that, but
Right,
it's good to see both sides. So at
right,
least you could kind of, hold on, no, that's not what we mean. You could come to a better understanding once you understand each other's perspective. Hopefully, and
but the thing is, as long as you only look at it from your perspective, you don't grow, or you don't learn from it, or
yep,
you don't even understand what the other person is coming from, because you're only looking at it from your perspective. If
right.
I live in the hood and that's the only thing that I see,
So,
when somebody
mm-hmm,
come into the hood, or even if
hey,
they lived in the hood before and they come back, I feel like they think they better.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're coming off like they're better because they don't live in the hood anymore.
yep,
But you have to understand that they have a new normal, a
mm-hmm,
new and a different perspective. And so I think it's important that we learn from one another so we can grow together. So like you said, if you say something and I hear it a whole different way, if we talk about it, we both can get an understanding out. And that does not mean that it's easy,
no,
because it's not easy all the time, especially when you have somebody that's really headstrong about what they believe in.
and
It's
especially this issue because like this issue is basically ingrained into you. Like this isn't like an issue that like we're taught about in school is black and white. Not like black and white like black and white people, but like it's not like a like it's either this or that. It's a most of the time you're getting your understanding is from somebody above you who gave you their perspective. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
That's
this is
true.
a it's a learned thing that was kind of passed on. So like you may think something that is completely off the wall, but that's what you were taught. So it's like that's law to you. Like you don't know any different, and vice versa. Like this isn't these aren't issues you could just look up in the dictionary and it's a flat out answer. Like
Right.
so
That's true. That is
so yeah.
very true. Okay, so with that, he got five white people, and he asked them like around the topic, like you said, what do you know about Black history? Like and so he has these different episodes within this series, and the one that we're gonna well, the one that we're gonna talk about tonight is do you dream? Or can you dream? How do you dream? Are you set up to dream? Have you been taught to dream or believe? All of those type of things. But in those topics, he talked about white privilege. Um, why is there a racial wealth gap? Um, do white people even know Black history? And can we grow out of racism? And so, if you all want to go look that up on your own time, it was really good information. It was really good to hear from their perspective. And, from first glance and first time kind of hearing them say certain things, you may get a little offended. But
It
after you
stings a
think about
little,
it,
yeah.
yeah, it stings a little. But after thinking about it, and that's how it is a lot of times with us. It's like you don't want certain people to say certain. It's almost like if your child come and tell you something that hurts, it's like, dang, but it's true.
And I
So
and I was gonna say the one thing that really hit me, I think it stung more because it came from a white guy. Like had that come from someone who looked like me, it probably would have been a lesser blow. But
yeah.
after when you sit down and think about it, it was a little truth to it. So yeah,
So whew. So he sat them down or whatever. They were having this conversation, and he asked them what was the average net worth for a black family versus a white family.
yeah,
And so when he asked what was the net worth for the white families, they were saying stuff like 100,000, 250,000, stuff like that. When he asked for the black family, the highest one he said was some of them said was like 80,000. They were saying, of course,
yeah.
lower numbers. And so he actually gave that exact stats of what they were. And I want to know what you all think that
Yeah.
in the comments before I give the answers. What is the average net worth of a black family versus a white family? While y'all thinking of that, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about these t-shirts, and y'all can put it in the comments, and then we're gonna move on. Again, we have our "Man Me Too" shirts on, and these were designed by Carl over there, through Designs by Davis. If you all want to be a part of the "Man Me Too" crew, email us at man with three N's, me too at gmail.com. So, anybody,
Anybody
want to
got
kind
any
of put
guesses?
out there? Anybody?
We got one
Okay,
40,000.
40,000. Okay, so now when we say network, we're not talking about necessarily how much you
How much
bring
money?
in a year or what your salary is, but we're talking about what would you be worth. Say you pass, what would you be worth? What would you or your family? What would the wealth of that? What would you be worth?
Yeah.
And so he went on to
So
read it and go ahead, go ahead.
net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe. Whatever's left over is your
Right,
net worth. So like
right. Right.
You could have a $200,000 house, but if you still owe 150 on it, you don't really have a two you got 50,000 in equity that you can get out the house, but you don't per se have $250,000 in from that
Right.
house. So it's everything that you own, banks, CDs, retirement, minus whatever you owe to somebody. So if you got car notes, you got house notes, you got to subtract all that to get your net worth. So uh, that's what a net worth is. Okay, we got them coming in.
Okay.
We got we got 15,000 for blacks. 45. We got 45. That 45. Hope not $45. 45,000. Hope 125,000. That's a good guess. Uh, who passing down debt? I hope. Unfortunately, that's the case for a lot of us. We
Yeah, I'm back.
we
Dead
pass
passed
down
on.
debt.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Okay. You want to give it or you want me to give it?
Go ahead.
All right. So for the whites, the average net worth of a single white family, of course, was $130,800. That was the average,
And
out of
when
all the
I heard
whites.
that number, I was kind of shocked. That seemed low to me. But
Yeah. So did they say in the comments what they thought blacks were? What
well,
were?
we had 15,000. Uh, uh, I hope this debt passed down wasn't for blacks, man. I hope that was for.
It's
We
true
got
though.
well, they not really specifying, but one of them say 10,000. I'm guessing that's for blacks.
But
Um,
see, even having the mindset of that, we assume that the lower number is for the blacks
mhm.
or the black people. I said the blacks is
But you can't pluralize blacks. It sounds
right,
bad.
right. For the black people, black culture. All right, so it was $130,800 for the white family. For the black family, as far as their average net worth is $9,000. I'm gonna let that sit for a second.
9,000.
$9,000. So since we're talking about dreaming and believing and you know all those things, I want to know why is that the case? We have the degrees. I mean, we have blacks that have degrees that's gone to school
Got
that
good jobs.
that has good jobs.
We got
Why is
black
there
people that's
such
entrepreneurs, got good companies. Like
right?
we I mean, it ain't like we just suffering all around the board. How could that number be so low though? Like,
Why is there such a big difference in the two networks? And I believed Hispanic or one of those were like 17,000.
yeah, Hispanic was
So
17,000.
they're just a little bit higher than ours, but even that is still a big jump from one hundred
Huge
and thirty
gap.
thousand eight hundred dollars. That's a huge jump. That's a huge
Yeah.
gap. So generational wealth. That was one of the things that one of the people said, and it got my wheels to turn and got me to think. And I was like, it's kind of true. We don't really have generational wealth. A lot of times we leave our families, like what you said earlier, in debt,
With that.
bills. We haven't passed anything down to them but bills.
But
Yeah, so go ahead.
but okay. So oh man, this topic is so double sided though. Like you can't look at one side without looking at the other because the number one tool for passing on generational wealth is home ownership.
Exactly. Exactly.
For a long time, our people could not buy homes.
That's exactly true.
So yes, we go out and buy Jordans, we go out and buy flashy stuff, but a lot of us don't even know what it takes to even buy a house because our parents didn't own homes, their parents didn't own homes. Like we were never that was money conversations typically don't happen in black families. Like
Right. And your wife put on her priorities, and I agree with that.
yeah,
That goes along with what you just said about, our culture of people, we're gonna go buy the Jordans, we're gonna go buy the and there's nothing wrong with that, but we have to prioritize and put things into perspective of what is most important. And a
it
lot of times that's what's important. But one of
yes.
them said, if your parents don't teach you how to deal with money, you have to find out the hard way. And I was like,
And
yeah,
we
this
all
is so
do.
true.
We all
We,
do.
I
That
mean, think about it.
we don't have money conversations in the black household.
We don't. We don't. Like, how many of you all parents actually sat down and taught you all about credit, about how to save money in the bank, how to invest in things, or to invest in stocks and bonds? Like, we don't have those conversations in our black households
We
for the most
learn
of us.
we learn about money from our parents' habits.
Exactly.
So we see our parents buying this and going to rent a center to get furniture and getting you the fresh J's every week or like that becomes our habit. Like we don't think, oh, we don't need that right now. We can save up and buy it once we get the cash instead of
Right.
paying rent a center 10 times what it actually costs to get
And
a
part of
bed
it is
set.
our mentality too, because we want it now. We
Microwave,
want it.
microwave.
We want it right now. So, we're not taught to. Okay, well, I'm gonna put this to the side every time I get paid, and then when I have enough, like you said, then I can go get what I want. I want it right now. I want, somebody put lack of financial education. That was definitely one of the other ones. Like
Mm.
and I said that a while ago. I wish that they would teach this in schools, like to everybody. Like, but we wouldn't
Ah,
have so many
don't
people
get me
in debt.
going, Scooter. I don't
But
want to
I
do
also
this.
feel like it's a system thing, man. It's set up to be this way.
I'm
They're not going to teach on that for on purpose.
right.
You know, it everything that they have done through the years have caused us to stay in the same cycle, and we bite that bait every time. And because of
Hmm.
the lack of, we have no choice to kind of continue in that pattern.
Yep.
It takes a conscious mind and a conscious person to say, okay, I've been through this. I grew up this way. I don't want to be this way. So I'm going to have to look into what it takes to not be that way. You know what I'm saying? But
Like
for most of us, we don't do that.
you have to physically make a conscious effort to jump off the conveyor belt that you were already sitting on because this thing just carries us along because we do what we're taught even
What we're
and it
taught, what
and
we see.
it's not like a sit down for to teach you this. It's a I've seen you do this, so that must be what we should do
And like we talked about a couple episodes ago, that we're products of our environment. And
all day.
if we're limited, if think about it, our parents were limited in the way that they thought, and there were
Hmm.
reasons for that. As why? Because a lot of times, and one of them said it like um, that we don't get a chance to see us in big places. Most of the time, when you see the CEO, the COO, all of those are not us. They don't
No,
see us in those hiring rooms. They don't, and so it's like we don't see that. So, and our parents didn't see that as well. So it's like to dream that
if
I
we
could be
don't
the
see it,
CE.
if we don't see it, for sure our parents didn't see it, and for
Right,
sure
right,
their parents didn't see it.
right,
So just like because we see a few back then, it probably was one or two. Like so,
right. And even as far as the president goes, we before Obama. we had never seen ourselves in the White House. So to dream I'm gonna be the president one day, like can you
That's it.
imagine? Can you imagine those people back in the '60s and somebody saying I'm gonna be
No,
the president? You
no
can't
way.
be that son. They won't let
Right.
you be that
They
son.
will look.
So
They probably look.
we have limits. We grew up with limits on things that we can do, and I think that mindset it transfers into your children if you know, and if they don't take, like you said, have a conscious mind to look into, because we got to do the work. And the thing is, a lot of us don't do the work. We just stay on, like you said, on that conveyor belt of doing what we see. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. How children, they pattern themselves after you, not by what you say, but what they see you do. And so that's the same thing, even when we grow up, we see
Mhm.
how you grew, how our parents did, and we kind of continue in that. And so
Right.
it's definitely crazy, that we have those limits on us and we have those ceilings. And it's like it takes for us to actually see ourselves out there doing it. Think about it. Black History Month. We talk most of the time, even when they do talk about Black history, they talk about the same few people. There are so many different avenues that our people have.
They talk
Um,
about the same two people. It seems like
they,
Martin Luther
Martin
King,
Luther
Rosa
King and
Parks.
Rosa Parks.
Who else?
So
Malcolm X don't come up in school. I doubt it. Like if he
right.
do, it's probably a brief thing. I don't even know who
So
else.
so that goes along to what I was just saying. I feel like that's done on purpose as well. If we can't see ourselves in that role, then we don't even know to even go after it.
Uh,
That's
that's
why I
true.
really like the movie Hidden Figures, because it showed these women doing something that we don't. It's not publicized. That
Hmm.
actually dealing with math and numbers and science and all. We don't get to see that all the time. So it's like, oh, I can go into that too. A young black little girl,
Right.
like, oh, I can do that too. Or and another thing that dropped in my mind early when I was thinking about this, I was like, we were only shown in certain categories in the world, even back towards in the beginning, like the 50s, 60s, and all that type of stuff. We were only entertainers. We
Hmm.
can only do
Play
sports,
sports. Hmm.
stuff like that. So that's what's in our minds of what when you ask a child what you
What
want
you
to be
want to
when they
be?
grow up.
Football player,
Oh,
basketball player.
that's what's put out there. That's what
Hmm.
they see. They don't see all the scientists and that it's about what you see. And
I,
when
right. We need to get our
go
kids
ahead.
to be like, I want to be the governor. I want to be the mayor. I want to be
Right.
like people that's impacting the community. Like,
But do you know
but
why? Because they don't often see themselves in those roles.
they don't. They don't.
So
We
so with that being said, do you think that has hindered us from believing and dreaming?
okay. So the video, which is what kind of punched me in the gut a little bit. The white guy brings up the fact. I guess I can't remember what his profession was, but he said he studies the brain, right? So he
Hmm.
says, he said it gingerly because I mean this coming out of a white guy's mouth.
Yeah, he didn't even want to say it. He was like,
You're
I
right.
hate to say this.
He was like, I hate to say it, but you don't believe the reason for some of the reason. He didn't say all of the reason. He said some of the reason for the gap is you don't believe. So he goes on to like break down how the mind works. Like if you stick your hand in an alligator's mouth, an alligator's brain is going to tell an
Go do
alligator what to
bite.
do what an alligator does, which is bite
Right.
your hand off. So if he he said it's in our head that we can't achieve certain things, so that's why we stay at a certain level. But yes, that's a part of it. But society has also told us this same message, and we just swallowed the pill
Wow.
because it it may be harder for us to get certain things and achieve certain goals and get higher places in life, but I'm a believer that it's not impossible.
I am
I'm a
too.
I'm a believer that yes, you might have to work harder. You might have to stay up later. You might have to wake up earlier. You might have to do extra credit, whatever it takes. But you can achieve anything if you're willing to put in the work.
So, does that have to be drilled into your head or exposed to you to have that mindset?
I think it has to be all
Because
of that. I, you got to
because like
have
one
you
of them
got
said that everyone is looking for something to happen before you believe that you can do it. And it's kind of true how we kind of think, like even if I come to sell you something, you want to see how it worked either on somebody else, even as far as as
what does
far as
this
the
mean?
whole
Hold up. What does this mean? What BT answer in here? What is
hey, that's true. We have to expose our children and our culture of people to other things
that?
besides our culture of things.
That's hilarious.
BT and CNN, although CNN don't always be right, but um,
It expose you to some stuff too.
yeah, and that's one thing that I've learned. That so another thing that they were talking about, I'm gonna get back on the belief thing, but another thing that they were talking about was privilege and white privilege, and I personally feel like there are all type of privileges.
Yeah.
It's not just necessarily white privilege, but you have privilege in church. You got privilege with celebrities. You have
You got
sometimes
male
there's black
privilege.
male
Yeah.
privilege. Right, right. So one thing that I gained from this is that privilege is wearing blinders. And
Yes.
sometimes those blinders go on without you noticing that those blinders go on. A lot of times, so it don't matter what it is, or like I said, whether it's a celebrity between a celebrity, A list, B list celebrity, or whatever any of those things may be, or white privilege, black privilege, male privilege, female privilege. I mean, with their female privilege, you hear on like certain movies and shows, like if they get pulled over by the cop, if they flirt with them, a little bit, or they show some
Hmm.
cleavage or something, they may get out of that ticket.
Get out of the
So
ticket.
there's
Yeah.
there's privilege everywhere, but I've noticed that with blinders, it blinds you to what else is going on outside of your bubble.
You don't
And
have to worry about it. Yeah.
right, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of white people who have the mindset that they have because they don't have to experience what we have to experience.
One of the ladies explained it in a way that I've like it just hit me. Like she was like, white privilege is being able to wear the blinders and never having to worry about taking them off.
Yep.
Like, like I don't even have to be aware of your world. I live in my world. This is the only world that exists. Whatever you talking about does not affect me. It does
And I
like
don't even understand it because I got my
I
blinders
don't
on.
have, and I don't have to
I don't
understand
even
it.
have to understand it.
Right. I was like, that is dope. Like that,
And it's
like
so true. Like,
it is.
when you
To
when
hear
you have
somebody
those
break it down though, break it down
right,
that
right.
way. Yeah.
And we have those blinders on, when we have those blinders on, we can't even understand why people think what
Hmm.
they think or say what they say. So when if I'm a white person, if I have my blinders on and somebody say Black Lives Matter, I'm like, yeah, all lives matter. Like, why
Hmm.
would you say that? But because I, as a white person, haven't experienced what you've experienced as a black person or a black man,
You don't
then I
understand.
don't even understand. So I think in order for our world to change, and in order for our schools to change, in order for our society to change, the government, all of those things to change, we have to take off our blinders. And the only way to do that is to really dive into diversity and learn about other cultures. That's why that triggered that when she put BET and CNN. It's like, yeah, we have to learn. If I only have blinders on and I only see black people, I'm not gonna even understand the white culture. I'm
Right.
not even gonna understand where they're coming from. That's why I think that episode on the table talk was so important because we got a chance to hear about it from their perspective, and it just makes so much sense. And And so the only way that we're going to understand it if we take those blinders off to learn about other people. So I even learn about, although I'm a Christian, I learn about other religions to understand, why they do. Because one thing I've noticed is when it's something that it's not normal to us or we don't do all the time because we got our blinders on, right? We
Hmm.
judge it.
Yeah.
We think it's stupid. We think, it's not right because we're only used. Think about the people in the church. We kind of judge things from the church perspective because that's all we know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like to see somebody else doing something else, it may not even necessarily be sin, but because it's outside of what we normally do, we judge it. Why they doing that? That's dumb. That's stupid. And I think we all kind of do that in different areas. And that's
Yeah.
why I said privilege is all around. And
Yeah.
so think about it. Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion came out with a hairstyle that came out in the 90s. And now everybody wants to wear this hairstyle. That's privilege. That's and from being a celebrity. And with the privilege comes status and when you have the following and like that and all those things, you have influence. When you can influence somebody, that's a privilege. Like, I can
Yeah.
use that for my advantage. So I feel like even with those white people, they should use their privilege and their influence for good.
To be, yep.
And we should as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
But then,
man,
and when you think about that, like to ask someone who's per se on the top of the totem pole to care about people under them, which is what society looks like. Why? Why would I? If I
mm,
was white, if I was white, what would be my um reward
reason.
in doing that? Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't
What are
even
you
have to
getting
be
out of it?
I don't even have to be concerned with that because it does not even touch my life. Like I have to make a conscious effort to say I'm going to jump off this route just to go over here to help out these people. Like if you do that, like man, like I don't even know if I would do that if I was a white person. Like just just the way society is built, that's a hard ask. Like if I was white, I'd be like,
It is.
why would I do it? But
Mm.
not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying like that's a hard ask. Like, hey, come down here with us and help us. And I get why a lot of people don't get it because they don't have
Kardashian,
to.
Kardashian privilege.
I saw that. They don't have to, but those people who do it like I don't want to make them bigger than what they are because I mean the issue actually started with you and your people. But like bro, that's a it would be a huge deal for you to advocate for or be on the side of us advocating for us to be treated like normal humans so that our kids can see, hey, I could be that. Hey, I could be the president. Hey, I could own a company and be the CEO and own worldwide technologies. Like,
And that's why I say part of it is on us because we have to push ourselves and we have to do the work, although we may have to work a little harder sometimes.
mhm,
But part of it is on them as well because they purposely make it harder for us.
mhm,
Like you said, and that you couldn't get houses in certain areas. You couldn't even go to certain schools at one time.
right,
So they purposely make it harder for us. If you get any type of conviction on your record, now it's harder to find a job. You know,
yeah,
it's just like it makes us continue in their cycle to keep us from going up. Because imagine if they would allow us to come into their hiring rooms and get jobs on their level. Um, I don't want to say that they're afraid that we will take over, but I can say that that's probably in their mind. And one of the reasons I say that because we were talking the other day about nepotism.
Hmm.
Um, and that word just simply means if say Carl is over this big company, he bring in his people who he wants to help run this company.
That look
That's
like
what they
me.
do. That's what they do. They
Yeah.
bring in their sons, their grandsons, their nephews, and half of the time they don't know nothing
They
about the
sons,
business.
friend. Yeah. They
Yeah, they don't know anything about the business, and it's even been instances where you have to train them, and then they get they do the job.
right.
So because they know most of the time we're gonna do it to the best of our ability, so we know the job. So that nepotism would come into play. If I was a white person, I'd be like, man, if we get more of them in here, then they're gonna start bringing more of their people in, especially if we put them in higher positions where they have that room to bring people in.
Right.
And so maybe that's a fear of theirs. I don't know. We would probably one day have to have a interview with a Caucasian person, but that would be honest enough because that would hurt our ears to actually hear that.
Here.
Uh, I'm sure people be ready to fight, but sometimes you want to hear the truth. You need to hear the truth rather. And
Hey,
so
I'd rather hear the truth. At least I know what it is.
yeah.
Like it's not a like I'm guessing about it. Like,
I
okay,
mean, but sometimes the truth is just really hard to take in. I
yeah,
mean, because on one level they say Black Lives Matter, but every other day we're seeing police brutality, with a black person. Like, so you're showing us how you feel about us. So, by you showing us, if you actually say it, it's gonna hurt probably even worse. Like,
no,
we don't want you here.
it's gonna hurt initially, but
Oh yeah,
I
but
think
it's still good for us. I'd rather know the devil I'm dealing with. Now I'm not calling white people devils. I'm just using that as a
that's
reference.
it.
I'd
Right.
rather know what I'm dealing with by you being upfront with me and honest instead of me having to try to figure it out or because we already have a problem trusting folks. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So um, I think that would let down our guard to know, okay, this person don't want me here for real.
Right. Right. Right.
you know, but I think that nepotism would play a part in that of why they probably don't want us to go up the ladder.
For
Why
sure.
our wealth is not as tall as theirs. Because if they had provided us with the information initially, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, we
Like
would
so.
have.
So yeah. So like even if you just go back, like we couldn't read. Like we weren't allowed to read books. Like we couldn't even eat in the same restaurants. Like there's clearly a setback. Like so the wealth disparity isn't surprising because I mean we're set back a couple hundred years. Like
And it's
but
a mental thing too.
uh-huh. So that and that's why the dreamy thing we have to turn this around because me and you
Right.
know better. Me
Right.
like our generation has access to everything now, right? So like yes, it may be harder, it may be more difficult to attain, but we can teach our kids, hey, listen, you can be the president if that's what you desire. You can
That's what I
be
was gonna
this
say. Yes, sir.
you could be the CEO if that's what you desire. You could be the principal of the school. You could be whatever the highest position in any company, or even have
You
your
can be
own
that.
company. You can do that
Yes,
because
sir.
you might have to work harder. You might have to stay up later. You may have to grind, but it's possible in this day and age to get there.
Hmm.
Not saying you're not gonna run into no obstacles. Not saying you're not gonna run into people who still don't want you there, but they don't always have the final say.
Right. I like what
So
your wife wrote. She said, "Well, I believe I can get to where I want to go with God. A nobody, white, black, yellow, or orange gonna stop it. And that's true. But that goes along with what you just said. We have that knowledge. We know
Hmm.
that we can be anything that we want to or put our mind to. But sometimes, so that's where it has to start with. It has to start with us
We got
ingraining
to
that in
turn it
our children.
around. Yep.
We got to
We.
change our mentality. We got to change our limit. We got to change our ceiling.
Hmm.
We got to take down that drywall and realize it's more ceiling up there.
Yep.
To go even further, because a lot of times we stop at what we see.
Yep.
And I do understand that's kind of how we think. If I buy something from an advertiser, I need to see an infomercial or commercial or some testimonials or something about how this thing works. So,
Right.
it's like we have to kind of see it before we believe it. That's just like with me, like I'm a singer or whatever, and I used to have this. I like singing background first of all, but I used to have this real big insecurity of I would never be called to do it, or I couldn't,
Oh.
because of I was a bigger person, and most of the time you always seen small people, singing or doing background or even being an artist, and so
Hmm.
I was glad I finally got past that. But it was like it wasn't until I started seeing bigger people singing background and actually being an artist, like okay, well I can do this. I can do that. So I had to get over that. But I do understand that sometimes you have to see it before you believe it. And
Yeah.
so, I just want our culture of people to get past that though. To
But
know
I
that with
our
God
gen.
we can do anything.
Hmm. And we've seen it.
Anything is possible.
Our generation has seen the top person in America, not America, because the president is probably the top person in the
He's
world. If
global.
you,
Right, right.
yes, we've seen a black president. Like we are the change that our kids need to be to see that they can go, and not just our kids, us. Like we need to
That's
dream
true.
bigger and think that we can get there too. Like we don't have to lay it on our kids. Oh, you got 20 more years for sure. You, no, we can do it too. We
And we,
got
we need
the
to get that put on a shirt. Dream bigger. I like it.
right. We living in the same age. We can go and do whatever. Nobody's saying it's gonna be easy. I tell my kids this all the time. Not is
Hmm.
life is not gonna be easy, but
It's definitely
it's
not.
possible. It's possible though if you willing to
Right.
put in the work. Just gotta be ready to work, man.
So are y'all out there ready to work? We appreciate all of you all for logging in and conversing with us, going back and forth, putting stuff in the chat. We want you all to dream bigger. We all of this is geared to encourage you to dream outside of what you know. Think
Hmm.
don't and be just like Chadwick Boseman. Like don't let nothing stop you even into your death. Like, don't let
Yep.
nothing stop you. Don't let nothing hold you back. No diagnosis, what no naysayer, no, what your parents say or your family say. A lot of times we hold each other back as well
Yep.
because you can't be that. What you talking about? You don't even got the credentials to even do that. Like if we keep leaning on those type of beliefs and thoughts, we're gonna continue to find ourselves on that same treadmill.
Yep.
And
We will.
so we have to learn to dream bigger. I'm talking to myself at this point. Like I'm not gonna allow anything to stop me, anything to hold me back. I can be who I want to be. And we quote that scripture all the time in church. I can do
Hmm.
all things through Christ that gives me strength. But do we really believe that?
Do we believe
Do we
that?
really believe I can do all things? Of course, not through your own strength, but through
Right.
Jesus Christ. Do you really
True.
believe that? You know what I'm saying? We have to learn to take those limits off, and we have to learn how to move past what we've seen. Because if we keep relying on just what we've seen, then we'll continue
To
in
stay
that
limited.
same way, and we'll
Yep.
stay limited, and we will continue to have limited wealth. We
Yep.
want to make sure that we got something to leave our kids. You know, when it's time our time to go, we want to have houses and land and stocks and all those things to leave our children. So when they get older, they can continue on, and it can be a house in the family, or something that continues on, whether it's rented out or whatever it is.
Right.
Like we want to continue that success and have that wealth, so our
Generational wealth.
generational wealth can go up.
Yep.
So our net worth won't be 9,000.
Nine
Like we want
thousand.
to,
Not
we don't.
acceptable, bro.
so we don't die and leave our children with a bunch of
Bills,
debt, a bunch
bill,
of
yeah.
bills. So but that's going to also take for us to educate ourselves on what
Hmm.
it's going to take, of what we need to invest in. I wish I would have invested in plexiglass. I really do.
Not plexiglass.
Imagine if we had a. I wish God would have kind of gave us an insight on 2020, and me and you could have invested in plexiglass. We'd really be rich.
They
Everybody
got
has
plexiglass
plexiglass
hanging
now.
everywhere, right?
I went to the gym. They had them on the treadmill. I said, "This is awesome." But yeah, we have to really dig into different things, so we can have something that goes back to a couple episodes ago talking about, are we setting ourselves up for the future? That's even when we leave this earth. Like,
Hmm.
what are we leaving behind? I don't want to leave a bunch of bills and debt for my family. Like, I want them to have something to live off of. I want to have that generational wealth. So again, we appreciate everybody who's on. Do you have anything else to say on this topic, Carl?
Uh, no, I know. I think we wrapped it up. I mean, okay, I got something. So this topic came about because of that podcast we watched. But if y'all missed it, it was the Anthony O'Neill's. He had a table panel of five white individuals talking about like different black topics, like Black history. What does Black Lives Matter to you? But the thing when they brought up a dream and believing, like my biggest dream was to like set my family up. Like
Mm,
I didn't really dream to be. I want to be the president. I want to be the owner of this or that. It was to basically leave a legacy for my kids or my wife if
right.
I go before her, like that they could leave to
Hmm.
their kids. Like that was my biggest dream. Whatever that entailed in between, I was willing to do. So I don't think when we talk about dream and believing, it doesn't have to be like a specific I need to be the president or I have to. No, just have an end goal, have a target that you're
Yeah.
shooting at, so that whatever steps it takes to get to that target, just be willing to do that to accomplish your goal. Like, I never saw myself making shirts, clothes, whatever. Like, but if that's a step towards me setting up my family, yes, I'll do that. Like, so we just got to be willing to have a target and dream to accomplish this target. That was my whole thing.
Man, that's that's awesome that you have achieved what you've achieved so this far in life. And a lot of times we don't have that in our mind, that's what we're going to do. We just kind of stumble into it or
Right.
develop a new interest. But we got to learn to push past our limited dreaming.
Hmm.
We gotta dream outside. Like, even as a black man, we've been pushed down and we've been um, knocked down or held down so much that I don't even know if we actually dream anymore.
Right.
I don't know if we actually sit back and say, you know what, I want this, I want that. You know, when you start to dream like that, then you'll start setting goals.
Yep.
And
That's
when you know, and so that's how I know if a person is dreaming. If they have some goals set, that means you have something in your vision. Like, you have something in your view. Like, then it's okay to put blinders on when you have something like that, because you want to stay focused. But other than that, you
you
want to
got a
make sure.
plan. Yep. You
Right,
got a
right.
plan.
So when I ask somebody, what's the plan, or what's your plan, they like, I don't know. They let me know you're not dreaming.
You
You
ain't
just
dreaming.
existing. You just
Yep.
existing in the world.
And I think a lot of
So
us as black men, I know for sure we don't dream. Like we our biggest dream is to get a good job so we could go out and get a car note. So we could go out and buy J's or like it has to go like it has to go a step further at some point. Like
And like we talked
and
about earlier, that not only is that affecting us, but that affects our children because they're seeing us and they hearing us, talk about our limits or what we can do and what we cannot do. So they don't grow up and have some of those same
have
issues
the same limits.
if we don't change it.
We instead of passing on generational wealth, we pass on generational uh, doubt
Bad habits.
and
Yeah.
fear and I I'm inferior type things instead of
And that's not to
and
say that other races don't, because they have their set of issues as well. So,
yeah,
that's not to say that, whites are better than blacks or any other nationality is better than blacks or anything. We're speaking specifically because we are a part of that culture. And so we want to see a change. We don't want to be
no
down
no
and like you said, just dream just to get a good job. Like, no,
right.
my dream is to have my own company and it flourish
Mm-hmm.
and that's why when I see people, especially people I grew up with or around me, and they're experiencing success, I'm celebrating that. Like,
Yep.
I don't have that mind, like, man, how they do that? Because that's another thing. We got to change the crab mentality, too.
Yep.
We have this mentality that, if
It
somebody
can
else
only be
doing
one.
something,
It
it
can
can
only
only
be
be
one.
one. And if it's passing what I'm doing, then I don't like it.
I definitely don't want to see it if it's better than mine. That
So
that,
we got to
that
change that.
but I tell you this. I love when I scroll up my Facebook feed and I see so many people that I know who are starting businesses or have a business like that that's that's the steps on the way to showing like we can do more than just get a job. Like some of us
Mhm.
are still dreaming out here. Like we not all just, oh, I graduated high school. That's an accomplishment. Let me get a good job. Some of us are out here like, how can I make income streams myself without depending on somebody to hire me, who can fire me the next day? Like,
Yes,
and you
sir.
and we seen with the pandemic, they don't even have to fire you. If the economy go down,
That's
jobs jobs get cut. Like that's how the economy works. So then what?
yeah.
What's the next step after that? Like if you ain't dreaming about how to build your way out of a job, then you just gonna be dependent on and there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. Like I'm nobody's
Yeah, there's
knocking that,
nothing wrong with that. Hmm.
but like
Don't let
we
that be your
gotta
limit
yeah,
of what you think you can do.
right.
Yes,
Like
sir.
that shouldn't be the tippity top. Like, oh, I made it here. But like let's dream bigger than what we've been dreaming, so we can show our kids that it's possible.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's possible.
that's all I got.
I enjoyed your commentary, your conversation tonight. I enjoyed seeing what everybody put in the chat. Once this live is uploaded, and once we're done with it, if you missed it, you can go back and rewatch it. Make sure you guys are sharing this with your friends, your brothers, your husbands, your lover, whoever you need to share this with, so we can increase the knowledge and the conversation that's going on in our black community. We don't have to talk about drugs and violence and gangs. We don't have to talk about that every time. We don't have to talk about all the bad things. Like, we wanna encourage one another. Let each other know you can be whatever you put your mind to, in spite of what limits others try to put on you. Don't put those on yourself.
Nope.
So I say all the time, every week, it takes a conscious person and with a right mind to build somebody up. Anybody can tear somebody down. So that's what we geared towards. We want to make sure that you have a voice. I'm tired of hearing about the suicide rate being so high because we don't feel like nobody's there for us. We don't feel like we have
Right.
a voice. We don't feel like we can't even express what's going on within us. So this is a platform for you to do that on. Um, again, we want you all to like, subscribe, share this on Facebook, but definitely go to our YouTube page, comment, like it, share it, and all those things. We want you all to do that because we want to continue to create a community. We definitely want to create a community of men. So, maybe one day we can have some call-ins or something where people can call
Right.
in and voice what's going on with them. So all of this is us building, and so we appreciate each and every person who commented tonight, who share this with anybody, or even talk about it amongst yourself and with your families. Like that's important. Like, hey, let me talk to my kids about building some, having some wealth and building their credit up. And, so hopefully this starts that conversation. So again, we thank you. We
Thank you.
are, this is Mannn Me Too. I'm Scooter Lamont, and this is
Carl. I'm Carl.
he Carl. All right. Again, if you all have any comments or questions or anything, you all can send those to Mannn Me Too, man with three N's. Oh, it's over here. Man me too at gmail.com. I had to see because I'm looking at the phone. So, but yeah, man me too, man with three N's, me too at gmail.com for any of those questions. Again, if you all like our shirts and you all
I'm
desire
on the business.
one, email us to that same email and we're going to get you a price. Oh man. And you never know. We may have some other stuff that we may come out with. If you want to be a part of the Mannn Me Too crew, come
Come
on,
on
jump
in.
on the ship. Come on in.
Yeah.
So we
We know
appreciate each and
y'all be
every
going
one of
through the
you.
same stuff we be going through, man. Y'all better
Yeah, we
come
be
on,
going through. Yes.
jump on, man.
And so I would like to shout out my wife, who always has my back. We may go back and forth on topics about certain things, but all in all, I know that she has my back and I appreciate
For
her.
sure.
So, and also I want to shout out Ebony as well because she always has our back in these chats and even with this whole thing, making sure that things are uploaded or make sure that we see certain things. So we appreciate you all being co-producers in the background. We and everybody else that's helping to make this podcast a success. We love you all. We thank you
Love y'all.
all, and continue to join the conversation and have the conversation amongst yourselves. You all
Yes,
be
sir.
blessed. Know that you can do anything, and you definitely can do anything through Jesus Christ. So
Yep.
keep that in
Dream big.
mind. Dream big.
Wakanda forever.
I know, right?
See y'all next
All right.
time. Peace.